Breaking news. Just this Friday, January 15th, 2010, Marshall Warren Nirenberg has just passed away. He was born in New York City on April 10th, 1927. Warren is most notable for his Nobel Prize in Physiology Medicine in 1968. Marshall Warren Nirenberg was only 34 years old when he reported his studies on the genetic code at the International Congress of Biochemistry in Moscow. He worked for the National Institutes of Health section of metabolic enzymes in 1960. It was there he began his work cracking the RNA code. He won the Nobel Prize in Physiology Medicine in 1968, which he shared with Har Gobind Khorana and Robert Hawley for their work in cracking the genetic code. Here is Nirenberg and his colleagues, Hawley and Khorana, at the Nobel Peace Prize ceremony. They are all talking about and are preparing to accept the award for their new-found discovery. Nirenberg conducted biochemical research on the genetic codes for protein synthesis. He identified the 64 codons, a triplet code of DNA units that translates into 20 amino acids that make up all proteins. He used a cell-free system and tagged the codons with polyuridylic acid, RNA composed of only uracil, to determine the code for phenylalanine. He used the same process for the remaining 63 codons. This study illuminated patterns of protein modifications that result in genetic mutation. This image above represents how normal genes consist of normal proteins, while genetic mutations inside of the DNA consist of either an abnormal protein or it is missing a protein. A genetic mutation is a change to a gene's DNA sequence to produce something different. It creates a permanent change to that gene's DNA sequence. Genetic variations are important for humans to evolve, which is the process of changing over generations. This could be as little as a slight change in the tint of a child's skin color different from their parents, to the child having blue eyes while the parents both have brown eyes. Throughout his career, Nirenberg put great emphasis on mentoring and helping young scientists, and many of researchers he trained are award-winning leaders in their own fields. Here is Nirenberg in a previous interview we conducted with him.
My colleagues and I deciphered the genetic code, and the code is used to, it's the language of all living things. It's the language that you inherit from your parents, that all of the information to synthesize the many kinds of molecular machines that the body is composed of.
In other words, he made the crucial discovery that RNA, rather than DNA, programmed the synthesis of proteins. Nirenberg's, Hawley's, and Khorana's work also helped to show how genetic instructions in the cell's nucleus control the composition of proteins. This finding led to a shift to studying synthetic RNA polymers composed of single or random mixtures of uracil, cytosine, adenine, and guanine bases. That's all we have for tonight. Thank you for tuning in.